Changing at lightning speed, fast and furious. Technology-driven, but in the service of communities. Multimedia. Less dependent on place and more dependent on the web. When 60 people gathered at the Harrington School of Communication and Media to brainstorm the future of journalism and library information science, those ideas were constant. And they defined the knowledge, skills, habits of mind, experiences, and relationships all Harrington graduates must master. In this short video, we will give you a taste of Convergence and Community, a 2-day listening and learning session. It was an amazing 2-day opportunity to connect the brainpower and commitment of URI faculty with Rhode Island information ecosystem leaders. And Harrington invited 5 distinguished national leaders in journalism, technology, and librarianship to seed the discussion.
To think about the new competencies, what citizens, journalists, and library information professionals need to know. That promoting entrepreneurial thinking is going to be an essential component of our conversation over the next 24 hours.
Right from the start, participants faced the challenge of moving out of their comfort zones, out of their silos.
I'm a student and a faculty member of URI, and the faculty member was very outspoken and very tough, saying, we have that already. We don't need to change. We don't need to move this forward. And so then the student is more quiet.
The idea of innovative thinking was encouraged by URI's top academic administrator.
In my view, some of the most exciting and critical work that we do at universities is actually to get together with our partners, to brainstorm, to look at each other critically, and mostly to project out beyond what any of us are comfortable projecting to.
The gathering included no panels, no speakers per se. Instead, participants sat around tables in comfortable furniture or gathered ad hoc in small breakout meeting rooms. A core idea for both journalists and librarians emerged: convergence in the way they must meet changing information needs of communities. And yet the twin worlds are still struggling with that idea.
Libraries are community engagers, and journalists are content providers, and scientists are problem solvers, and we thought it would be a great idea to be able to bring all 3 of them together in some kind of method.
After an evening to set expectations, the main meeting day began with more questions and challenges than answers. But gradually we drew some conclusions about curriculum and competencies. In the next few clips, you'll see that transition emerge.
I don't think that journalists are seen as the enemy.
What do you consider to be legitimate? Because we have a very specific idea of what is considered to be legitimate in our world, what is real and what isn't. And so we're very siloed in our thinking. So I want to hear from the librarians, in your reality, in your world, do you have that same kind of structuralized understanding of the world? Do you organize information in that same kind of way?
How to develop a media model of the future.
We're constantly thinking about our transformation.
That transformation is being driven for now by rapid technology change. But one of the gathering's participants, former ABC News technologist and archivist Graf Muen, thinks it's time humanists set higher expectations for what technology should do.
Would you like technology to help you?
I think that should be a question. People who are good at programming probably have less of a qualification than almost anyone else.
Network technology is allowing news organizations and libraries to deliver services in new places and new ways. And that creates new challenges for the institutions, for their users, and for schools like Harrington, who train their future leaders.
One of the biggest problems are access. Libraries don't need just to be a place that people come to, but also to reach out. Need to get to those places, elderly houses that cannot come, or community that won't come because of a language barrier or cultural, or thinking that they need to have the knowledge in order to get into the library and not coming and question and get the knowledge from the library.
From best practice and mistakes from around the world.
Participants formed 6 groups with topics like online learning, tech integration, business models, underserved community media, global learning, and science journalism. By the afternoon, they had developed 15 recommendations for Harrington curriculum renewal and public outreach.
What kind of concrete curricular programs best meet the needs of future students and align with the Harrington School's mission and vision?
So for concrete examples, we said that students will dialogue on demand using social media and other communication technology. Students will connect with global organizations to understand how they are presenting issues and solving their issues. We want students to join and create networks with people all over the world to exchange ideas and news.
At its very best, journalism never met the needs of everybody. It never included everybody. So if we focus on not this, but that, if we focus on the and, we can, and with the tools that we have now, the technologies that we have, and the networking that's possible, because it's the networks that matter, it's not the technology.
Phoenix from the ashes phenomenon that we see journalism reinventing itself in the 21st century.
How did participants react to Convergence and Community? Veteran big city journalist Tom Stites, whose Banyan project is now working to test the idea of news organizations owned by community cooperatives, explains his reaction.
The conference so far has been smashing. The people are extraordinarily diverse in what they bring to the gathering, and they, how would I say it? There's a lot of cross-pollination going on, and I think a lot of people's minds are getting opened wider than they already are, which is pretty wide to start with. There's a huge overlap between what journalists do and what librarians do and what they're trying to accomplish that has essentially gone unexplored. And both journalism and libraries are losing their budgets, and they're now forced to look for ways to maintain their strength through collaboration. It's a natural collaboration. They are devoted to getting reliable information to the people of the community so that they can make sound life and citizenship decisions. They're both about that. They just use different tools. One of them goes fast, one of them goes slow, but they're doing the same thing, and they're highly complementary and I think synergistic.
That synergy will include more time spent building deeper community relationships, the breakouts recommended, new measurements that determine outcomes, and new branding such as newsbrary.org, all designed to help Harrington students lead and play roles in the second industrial revolution for Rhode Island, the information revolution.
To me, the most important competency is around mindset. What compels you to want to be in these fields? And I think it needs to be a mindset around public service, around humility, about curiosity, around entrepreneurship, because in a tough economy you need to be able to market yourself to the world. And so for me, it's really about getting in touch with what motivates me to want to do this work and to be connected to the public that I'm trying to serve. Both librarianship and journalism are moving very much in the direction of community engagement. In an interactive world where people can network with each other and do for themselves and for each other the functions that they once required institutions like libraries and journalism to do for them, they now have the opportunity to do that for themselves. So journalists and librarians need to say, what service do we render that's valuable to the public we're trying to serve? And we have to be really closely connected to that public, really engaged with them, their lives, their needs, in order to be successful and relevant and accountable to them.
The goal is to produce students who are adaptive, hungry, knowledgeable, learned, and cross-trained. What we wanted to see was a real world, not a demonstration, connection to serving the community and having an impact before you leave the Harrington School.
I think you should have a competency in understanding all aspects of the digital world that you're going to live in. Among many people in the room, I'm getting so much eye-opening, possibility, engendering thinking from people. So it's a wonderful thought jacuzzi.